Ladies and gentlemen, stop scrolling. What if I told you that the life you're dreaming about right now, the one that feels impossible, the one you think about before you fall asleep, is closer than you think? But there's something you're doing every single night that's pushing it further away. Right now, in this exact moment, your mind is either working for you or against you. And the hours before you sleep, those are the most powerful hours of your entire day. Ancient masters understood something that modern science is only now beginning to prove. The thoughts you plant in your mind before sleep don't just disappear. They grow. They shape your reality. They become your future. Tonight, we're going deep into 10 ancient principles that will completely change how you use those final hours before sleep. The power of the evening mind. Let's talk about something most people completely ignore. Your brain doesn't shut off when you sleep. Actually, it does the opposite. It processes everything you fed it during the day, especially in those last few hours before your eyes close. And this isn't some spiritual concept or ancient mystery. This is how your brain actually works. Modern neuroscience has proven what the ancient masters knew thousands of years ago. The state of your mind before sleep directly shapes the quality of your sleep, your dreams, and most importantly, how you show up the next day. Think about it like this. Imagine your mind is like soil in a garden. Everything you think about, everything you focus on before sleep, those are seeds. And while you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is watering those seeds, growing them, making them real. This isn't a metaphor. This is literally what happens in your brain during sleep. Your mind consolidates memories, processes emotions, solves problems, and creates new neural pathways based on what you focused on before closing your eyes. So if you're planting seeds of worry, anxiety, and negativity right before bed, guess what? Your subconscious is growing all night long. More worry, more anxiety, more reasons to feel stuck. But here's where most people miss. They spend their last waking moments scrolling through negativity, watching news that makes them anxious or replaying all the things that went wrong during their day. Then they wonder why they wake up feeling heavy, why their dreams feel out of reach, why nothing seems to change. They're expecting their life to improve while programming their subconscious mind with everything that's wrong. It's like trying to grow flowers by planting weeds every single night. You can't expect different results if you keep doing the same thing. The ancient teachers knew this secret. They understood that the evening hours were sacred, not because of some mystical reason, but because of how our minds actually work. When you're tired, when your logical brain starts to slow down, your subconscious mind opens up. It becomes like a sponge, and whatever you expose it to in those moments sinks deep. Your conscious mind, the part that analyzes and judges and filters, it gets tired. It needs rest. But your subconscious mind, that thing never stops. It's always working, always processing, always building your internal reality based on the information it receives. This is why successful people, masters of their craft, people who seem to manifest their goals effortlessly, they all have one thing in common. They're extremely protective of their evening hours. They don't just stumble into bed after exhausting themselves with screens and stress. They intentionally create an evening routine that sets them up for success. They understand that those final hours before sleep are when they get to program their subconscious mind. It's like having access to the control panel of your life, and most people just walk past it every single night without even looking at it. So before you do anything else, you need to guard those final hours like they're the most valuable thing you own, because they are your evening routine. Isn't just about winding down. It's about programming your future. Every thought you think before sleep, every image you hold in your mind, every emotion you feel as you drift off, all of that becomes the blueprint your subconscious uses to build your tomorrow. If you fall asleep stressed, you're programming stress. If you fall asleep worried about money, you're programming more money problems. If you fall asleep replaying arguments, you're programming more conflict. But here's the beautiful part. Once you understand how this works, you can use it to your advantage. You can deliberately choose what you want your subconscious to work on while you sleep. You can plant seeds of peace, abundance, confidence, whatever you want more of in your life. And your subconscious doesn't care if it's real or imagined. It just takes what you give it and gets to work, making it your reality. This is the secret that changes everything. Not positive thinking, not ignoring problems, but consciously choosing what you focus on in those final moments before sleep. The ancient masters would spend their evenings in quiet reflection, in meditation, in practices that cleared their minds and allowed them to enter sleep in a state of peace and clarity. They weren't trying to escape reality. They were creating the reality they wanted to live in. And you can do the same thing starting tonight. You don't need special tools or years of training. You just need to understand that your evening hours are powerful and you need to start treating them that way. Turn off the screens an hour before bed. Stop consuming content that drains you. Stop having stressful conversations right before sleep. Start creating an environment and a routine that supports the life you want to build, because everything you do before sleep matters. Everything you think before sleep matters. And once you start using this power intentionally, your entire life begins to shift, releasing the day's weight. You can't fill a cup that's already full, and you can't plant new seeds in soil that's cluttered with weeds. This is one of those simple truths that sounds obvious, but most people never actually apply it. Every single day you pick up weight, stress from work, arguments that didn't get resolved, disappointments, frustrations, little moments that stuck to you like dirt. Someone cut you off in traffic and you're still replaying it hours later. Your boss said something that rubbed you the wrong way. A friend didn't respond to your message and now you're creating stories about why all of these things, these little weights, they accumulate throughout the day. And if you go to sleep carrying all of that, you're basically telling your subconscious mind to build your tomorrow from yesterday's garbage. Think about what happens when you carry yesterday's problems into today. You wake up already feeling behind, already feeling heavy, already feeling like the world is against you. And then you wonder why you can't seem to break free from negative patterns. It's because you're not actually moving forward. You're just carrying the same weight day after day, adding more to the pile, never setting anything down. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between something that happened 5 years ago and something that happened 5 minutes ago. If you're still holding on to it, if you're still giving it energy, your subconscious treats it as current and keeps it alive in your reality. This is why the practice of release is so important. Not forgiveness in the way most people think about it, where you're letting someone off the hook, but release as in letting go of what no longer serves you. Because holding on to it doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. That person who wronged you, they're probably sleeping fine, they've moved on. But you're lying in bed replaying the situation, feeling the anger all over again, letting it poison your peace. Who's really suffering here? Release isn't about saying what they did was okay. It's about saying you're no longer willing to carry the weight of it. Here's a simple practice. Before you sleep, sit quietly for just 5 minutes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and mentally go through your day like you're watching a movie. See the moments that triggered you, the conversations that left you feeling some type of way, the situations that didn't go as planned. Don't judge yourself for having those reactions. Don't try to fix anything or figure anything out. Just observe. Just acknowledge this happened. I felt this way. I'm noticing this weight I'm carrying. And as you see each one, imagine yourself setting it down. Not judging it, not trying to fix it, just acknowledging it and letting it go. Picture yourself literally placing each heavy thing into a river and watching it float away. See it drifting further and further until it disappears from you. This simple visualize does something powerful to your nervous system. It signals to your body and mind that it's safe to let go, that you don't need to stay in fight or flight mode, that you can rest. Now, some people struggle with this because they think letting go means they're giving up or admitting defeat. But that's not what this is. This is about understanding that you can't change what already happened. You can only choose what you do next. And if what you do next is carry all of that weight into your sleep, into your subconscious, into your tomorrow, then you're choosing to stay stuck. But if you can learn to release it, even just a little bit each night, you create space. Space for healing, space for new possibilities, space for the life you actually want to live. This isn't about pretending bad things didn't happen. It's about choosing not to carry them into your sleep, into your subconscious, into your tomorrow. Because the truth is, most of what we hold on to doesn't deserve the space it takes up in our minds. That argument from 3 weeks ago, it's still living rent-free in your head. That embarrassing moment from last year, You're the only one who still thinks about it. That disappointment, that rejection, that failure, it's only still hurting you because you keep giving it power by holding on to it. When you release the day's weight before sleep, you create space. Space for new thoughts, space for clarity, space for the desires you actually want to manifest to take root and grow. Your subconscious mind can't work on building your dreams if it's too busy processing all the pain and stress you refuse to let go of. It's like trying to download new software while your computer is overloaded with viruses and junk files. You have to clear space first, and the evening right before sleep. That's the perfect time to do it. Make it a ritual. Make it non-negotiable. 5 minutes of release. 5 minutes of release. 5 minutes of letting go. 5 minutes of setting down everything that doesn't serve your highest good and watch how much lighter you feel. Watch how much clearer your mind becomes. Watch how your sleep improves and your days start to flow differently. The art of intentional focus. Your mind is always creating something. Always, every single second of every single day, your mind is working, processing, building, creating your internal reality. The question is, are you directing it, or is it just running on autopilot, building whatever thoughts happen to pass through? Most people never even consider this question. They just let their minds wander wherever they want, thinking whatever thoughts show up, and then wondering why their lives feel chaotic and out of control. But here's what you need to understand. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It's more powerful than any technology, any resource, any external circumstance. But like any tool, it only works well when you know how to use it intentionally. Most people treat their minds like a wild horse, just hoping it goes in the right direction. They wake up and immediately start reacting to whatever shows up, checking messages, responding to demands, letting the outside world dictate what they think about. And by the end of the day, they're exhausted, overwhelmed, feeling like they've been through a war because they have. They've been at war with their own untrained mind all day long. But the ancient masters treated their minds like master craftsmen, treat their tools with precision, with purpose, with intention. They understood that the mind is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy, depending on whether you learn to direct it or let it direct you. Before sleep is when you get to be the architect of your inner world. This is when you deliberately choose what you want your subconscious to work on while you rest. This is your opportunity to shift from reactive to creative. All day long, you're responding to the world around you. But at night, in those quiet moments before sleep, you get to decide what you want to create. You get to plant the seeds. You get to set the intention. You get to program what your subconscious will work on for the next 8 hours. Let me explain how powerful this is. Your subconscious mind doesn't sleep while your body rests. Your subconscious is processing, connecting dots, solving problems, creating pathways. Scientists call this consolidation. Ancient teachers called it the nights where your brain is literally reorganizing information, strengthening certain neural pathways, weakening others, all based on what you focused on before you fell asleep. This is why people often wake up with solutions to problems they couldn't figure out the day before. This is why you've probably experienced going to bed confused about something and waking up with clarity. Your subconscious was working on it all night. But here's the thing. Your subconscious doesn't judge what you give it. It just works with whatever is there. It doesn't say, oh, this is a good thought, I'll process this one. Or, this is a bad thought, I'll ignore it. It takes everything equally and gets to work. If you fall asleep thinking about your fears, it'll work on making those fears feel more real. It'll find evidence to support them. It'll create scenarios in your dreams that reinforce them. If you fall asleep thinking about what you lack, it'll find more evidence of lack. It'll show you all the ways you're not enough, all the things you don't have, all the reasons why your goals are out of reach. But if you fall asleep, focus on what you desire, on who you're becoming, on the life you're building, it goes to work on that instead. It finds opportunities. It creates solutions. It builds pathways toward what you want. So here's what you do in those final minutes before sleep. Get crystal clear on one specific desire, not 10 things, not a vague wish, one clear specific thing you want to manifest. Maybe it's inner peace, Maybe it's a specific goal. Maybe it's a version of yourself you're growing into. Whatever it is, make it clear, make it specific, make it something you can actually see and feel in your mind, because vague intentions create vague results. Your subconscious needs something concrete to work with. See it clearly. Feel what it would feel like to already have it. This is the key that most people miss. They visualize what they want, but they do it from a place of lack. From a place of I don't have this yet and I hope I get it someday. But that energy of lack just creates more lack. Instead, you need to feel it as if it's already true. Not in a fake way where you're lying to yourself, but in a way where you're trying on that reality for a few minutes. What would it feel like to already be that person? How would you carry yourself? What would your inner dialogue sound like? How would you breathe? How would you move through the world? Don't strain or force it. Just gently hold that image in your mind as you drift off. Let it be the last thing your conscious mind focuses on before sleep takes over, and then trust that your subconscious heard you. Trust that it's going to work on this while you sleep. Trust that you're going to wake up slightly different than you were before, because this is how you stop being a passenger in your own life and become the creator of it. This is how you shift from hoping things will get better to actively building better. One intentional focus at a time, one evening routine at a time, one night of conscious programming at a time. Silence as a foundation. We live in a world that never stops. Talking, notifications, messages, videos, music, podcasts, noise, constant noise. From the moment you wake up to the moment you try to sleep, there's always something demanding your attention. Your phone buzzes, your TV plays in the background. Your mind jumps from one thought to another without ever settling. And all of that noise creates chaos in your mind. It's like trying to have a conversation in a room where 100 people are all talking at once. You can't hear yourself think. You can't process what's important. You just exist in this constant state of mental static that leaves you feeling drained and disconnected. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of clarity. It's the space where your deepest wisdom lives. But most people are so uncomfortable with silence that they fill every moment with distraction. They're terrified of being alone with their own thoughts. So they keep the TV on even when they're not watching it. They put on music even when they're not really listening. They scroll through their phones mindlessly just to avoid sitting in quiet. And what happens is they lose touch with themselves. They lose access to their own inner guidance. They become strangers to their own minds because they never create the space to actually connect with themselves. The ancient teachings emphasize silence before sleep for a very specific reason. When everything goes quiet, when the external world fades away, that's when you can finally hear yourself, your real thoughts, your real desire, not the ones society planted in you, but the ones that come from your core. During the day, you're bombarded with messages about who you should be, what you should want, how you should live. Advertisements telling you you're not enough without their product. Social media showing you highlight reels that make you feel like you're falling behind. News feeding you fear and urgency. All of this noise drowns out your authentic voice. But in silence, that authentic voice can finally speak. Try this tonight. Turn everything off. No TV in the background, no music, no scrolling through your phone. Just sit in complete silence for 10 minutes before you sleep. I know 10 minutes sounds simple, but for most people, it's going to be one of the hardest things they do all day because we've become addicted to distraction. We've trained ourselves to need constant stimulation. The idea of just sitting with nothing to occupy our minds feels almost scary. But that discomfort is exactly why you need to do this. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Your mind might race. You might feel restless. That's normal. That's all the noise trying to maintain its grip on you. Your mind is going to throw everything at you. Old memories, random thoughts, your to-do list for tomorrow, worries about things that might never happen. It's like when you finally stop moving and suddenly you feel all the aches and pains in your body that you were ignoring while you were busy. The same thing happens mentally. When you stop distracting yourself, you start feeling all the mental clutter you've been avoiding. But if you stay with it, something shifts in that silence. You'll start to notice things. Thoughts you've been ignoring, feelings you've been pushing down, truths you've been avoiding. Maybe you realize you're not actually happy in a situation you've been pretending is fine. Maybe you'll notice that you've been carrying stress you didn't even know was there. Maybe you'll hear that small voice inside you that's been trying to guide you, but you've been too busy to listen. And yes, sometimes that's uncomfortable. Sometimes what comes up in silence isn't pleasant, but it's also where your power is, because you can't change what you're not aware of, and you can't manifest what you're not connected to. Silence creates that connection. It clears the static so you can tune into your own frequency. Think about trying to find a radio station. If there's too much interference, you can't hear the signal clearly. But when you eliminate the interference, the signal comes through crystal clear. Your inner wisdom is the same way. It's always broadcasting, always trying to guide you, but you can't hear it through all the noise of modern life. This is why the masters always practice silence, not because they were trying to be holy or spiritual, but because they understood that silence is where truth lives. It's where clarity emerges. It's where you reconnect with what actually matters to you instead of what everyone else says should matter. In our culture, we've mistaken noise for productivity. We think if we're always busy, always consuming content, always engaged with something, then we're making progress. But the opposite is true. Real progress happens in the quiet moments. Real transformation happens when you give yourself space to just be. Make silence a non-negotiable part of your evening routine, even just 10 minutes. Let it reset your nervous system. Your body exists in a constant state of stress. When there's always noise, always stimulation, your nervous system never gets a chance to fully relax. But silence signals to your body that it's safe, that there's no threat, that it can finally let go and rest. Let it quiet the chaos. All day long, your mind has been pulled in 1,000 different directions. Silence brings it back to center. It allows all those scattered pieces of your attention to come back together. Let it prepare your mind for the deep work of sleep. When you go to sleep from a place of silence, from a place of inner peace, your subconscious has a clean slate to work with. It's not trying to process all the noise and chaos you consumed right before bed. It can focus on healing, on integrating, on creating the life you're trying to manifest. Silence before sleep is like clearing your desk before starting important work. You're giving your mind the space it needs to do what it does best. So tonight, turn everything off, sit in silence, and listen to what your soul has been trying to tell you. Gratitude as fuel. Here's something that sounds simple but changes everything. The energy you fall asleep in is the energy you wake up in. Most people don't realize this, but your emotional state before sleep is like setting the thermostat for your entire next day. If you fall asleep in luck, in frustration, in worry, that's the energy that grows overnight. Your subconscious mind takes that emotional frequency and amplifies it, works with it, builds more of it while you sleep. So you wake up already feeling behind, already feeling stressed, already feeling like something's wrong. And then you spend your whole day trying to fight your way out of that energy, wondering why everything feels so. But if you fall asleep in gratitude, in appreciation, in abundance, that's what multiplies. That's what your subconscious mind uses as the foundation for building your tomorrow. Gratitude isn't just about being polite or positive. It's not about pretending everything is perfect when it's not. It's about training your mind to see what's working instead of only what's broken. And when your mind sees what's working, it finds ways to create more of it. This is basic neuroscience. Your brain has something called a reticular activating system. It's like a filter that decides what information gets through to your conscious awareness. And here's the thing about this filter. It shows you more of whatever you're focused on. If you focus on problems, it finds more problems. If you focus on lack, it finds more evidence of lack. But if you focus on what you're grateful for, it starts finding more things to be grateful for. It's not magic. It's just how your brain works. Before sleep, list 3 things you're genuinely grateful for from your day. Not the big, obvious things, the small things, the moment your coffee tasted perfect, the stranger who smiled at you, the fact that you have a bed to sleep in tonight, the way sunlight came through your window, the fact that you have clean water to drink, a conversation that made you laugh, your body that carried you through another day. These small moments are everywhere. But most people miss them because they're too busy looking at what went wrong. They had 99 good things happen and 1 bad thing, and they spent a whole evening replaying that 1 bad thing. They wonder why they feel stuck, This does something powerful to your brain. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, and your subconscious mind takes that shift seriously. It starts looking for more things to be grateful for. It starts creating situations that give you more reasons to feel abundant. You start noticing opportunities you would have missed before. You start seeing solutions instead of just problems. You start attracting better circumstances because you're operating from a different frequency. This isn't about denying reality or pretending your problems don't exist. This is about choosing not to give your problems all of your power right before you sleep. But here's the key. Don't just list things mechanically. Don't just say the words without feeling them. Actually feel the gratitude. Let it fill your chest. Let it soften your face. Let it relax your body, because it's the feeling that does the programming, not just the word. Your subconscious mind doesn't respond to empty words. It responds to emotion. When you feel genuine gratitude, your body releases different chemicals, your heart rate changes, your breathing changes, your whole nervous system shifts into a different state. And that state is what your subconscious remembers and recreates. Think about the difference between someone who says, "I'm grateful for my health," while scrolling through their phone, versus someone who actually stops, takes a breath, and feels genuine appreciation for the fact that their body works, that they can walk and see and hear and breathe without thinking about it. The second person is programming their subconscious with a completely different message. They're creating a completely different energy that will shape their sleep and their tomorrow. When you fall asleep wrapped in genuine gratitude, you're telling your subconscious that life is good, that you're supported, that more good things are coming, and your subconscious believes you, and it gets to work making that true. It doesn't question you, it doesn't argue. It just takes the message you give it and says, "Okay, this is what we're working with. Let me create more of this." This is why people who practice gratitude before sleep often report better sleep quality, more positive dreams, and waking up with more energy and optimism. They are literally programming themselves for success while they sleep. The ancient masters understood this deeply. They didn't practice gratitude because someone told them to or because it was trendy. They practiced it because they recognized it as fuel. Gratitude is what powers manifestation. Complaint and worry drain your energy. They put you in a defensive, contracted state. But gratitude expands you. It opens you up. It puts you in a state of receiving rather than resisting. And when you're in a state of receiving, life can actually give you what you're asking for. So tonight before you sleep, spend 5 minutes in real gratitude, not fake positivity. Not forcing yourself to ignore your problems, but genuine appreciation for what's actually good in your life right now. Even if today was hard, even if you're going through something difficult, there's still something to be grateful for. The fact that you're alive, the fact that tomorrow is a new day, the fact that you're learning and growing even through challenges. Find it, feel it. Let it be the last emotion you experience before sleep, and watch how your life begins to shift. Not because gratitude magically fixes everything, but because it changes the lens through which you see everything. And when you change how you see, you change what you create, visualizing your desired self. Most people think manifestation is about wishing for things. It's not. It's about becoming the person who naturally has those things. This is the part that most people get completely wrong. They visualize the car they want, the money they want, the relationship they want, and then they wonder why it never shows up. They're focusing on the wrong thing. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. It responds to your energy, your beliefs, your identity. And if your identity doesn't match what you're trying to manifest, you're going to keep hitting a wall no matter how much you visualize. Before sleep, you have a golden opportunity. Your logical mind is tired. Your defenses are down. This is when visualization actually works, because your subconscious conscious can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. During the day, when you're fully alert, your conscious mind acts like a gatekeeper. It questions everything. It tells you what's realistic and what's not. It brings up all your past failures and limitations. But at night when you're tired, that gatekeeper gets sleepy too. And this is when you can slip new programming past it directly into your subconscious mind. Here's how you use this. Don't visualize the thing you want. Visualize yourself as the person who already has. See yourself moving through your day with the confidence, the peace, the energy of someone who's already living your desired reality. This is a completely different practice than what most people do. Most people see themselves getting the thing they want. They imagine the moment of receiving it, but then what? After that moment, they're still the same person with the same doubts and fears and limitations. But when you visualize being the person who already has it, you're changing your identity. You're rewiring how you see yourself at the deepest level. If you want inner peace, see yourself staying calm in situations that used to trigger you. Don't just imagine being peaceful in a perfect scenario when nothing's wrong. See yourself in traffic, in a difficult conversation, in a stressful situation, and watch yourself respond with peace. Watch yourself breathe slowly. Watch yourself choose your words carefully. Watch yourself maintain your center even when chaos is happening around you. If you want abundance, see yourself making decisions from a place of abundance rather than fear. Watch yourself ordering at a restaurant without checking the prices. Watch yourself investing in yourself without guilt. Watch yourself giving generously because you know there's more than enough. If you want better relationships, see yourself showing up as the person who naturally attracts healthy connections. Watch yourself setting boundaries with ease. Watch yourself communicating clearly and honestly. Watch yourself being the kind of person you would want to be in a relationship with. This is how you use visualization to actually create change. You're not just daydreaming. You're rehearsing, you're practicing being that version of yourself in your mind, so that when situations arise in real life, you already know how to respond. Make it detailed. What are you wearing? How are you standing? What's your facial expression? How does your body feel? The more specific and sensory you make it, the deeper it sinks into your subconscious. Your subconscious mind thinks in images and feelings, not words. So the more vivid you can make this visualization, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. Don't just see it from a distance like watching a movie. Step into it. See it through your own eyes. Feel the fabric of your clothes. Hear the sounds around you. Smell the air. Taste the coffee you're drinking in this visualized moment. The more senses you engage, the more your subconscious believes this is a real memory rather than imagination. Do this every night before sleep. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of becoming that future version of yourself in your mind. And watch how your actual behavior starts to shift. How you start making different choices. How opportunities start appearing that match this new version of you. This happens because you're literally creating new neural pathways in your brain. Every time you visualize yourself being confident, your brain creates and strengthens the neural connections associated with confidence. Every time you visualize yourself being peaceful, you're training your nervous system to default to peace. You're not just imagining change. You're creating the biological foundation for that change to happen. Your subconscious doesn't argue with what you consistently show it. It just accepts it as true and starts reorganizing your reality to match it. This is why athletes use visualization. This is why successful people rehearse important moments in their minds before they happen. They're not hoping for magic. They're using their brains the way brains are designed to be used. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So when you consistently show your brain images of you being successful, confident, peaceful, abundant, your brain starts to believe that's who you are. And when your brain believes that's who you are, it starts making choices that align with identity. You start showing up differently without even trying because you've programmed yourself at a subconscious level. So tonight, don't just wish for a better life. Become the person who lives that better life in your mind first. In those 5 minutes before sleep, see yourself being that person. Feel yourself being that person and let your subconscious do the rest. Questions that guide your sleep. Your mind loves questions. When you ask a question, your brain immediately starts searching for answers. Even while you sleep, this isn't some mystical concept. This is how your brain is wired. The moment you pose a question, your mind activates what psychologists call the search function. It starts scanning through everything you know, everything you've experienced, every piece of information stored in your memory banks, looking for an answer. And the beautiful thing is the search function doesn't stop when you fall asleep. It keeps working. It keeps processing. It's looking for solutions while your conscious mind rests. This is an incredibly powerful tool that most people never use. Instead of falling asleep with worries, fall asleep with questions, intentional questions that direct your subconscious towards solutions. Think about how most people, in their day, they lie in bed replaying problems. Why did that happen? Why does this always happen to me? Why can't I figure this out? These are questions. Yes, but they're the wrong kind of questions. They're disempowering questions that send your mind searching in the wrong direction. When you ask, why is everything so hard? Your brain takes that as a genuine question and starts finding answers. It starts showing you all the evidence of why things are hard, all the ways you've struggled, all the reasons you should feel overwhelmed, and you wake up the next day feeling even heavier because your subconscious spent all night proving to you that life is difficult. But when you shift the questions, you shift everything. Before you sleep, ask yourself one clear question, not a worried question like, why is everything so hard? But an empowering question like, what's one step I can take tomorrow toward my goal? Or, how can I show up as my best self tomorrow? Or, what am I not seeing that would make this easier? These questions send your mind searching in a completely different direction. Instead of looking for problems, it starts looking for solutions. Instead of finding evidence of why you're stuck, it starts finding pathways forward. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers, and the quality of your answers determines the quality of your life. Write a question down. Say it out loud. Let it be the last thought in your mind before you drift off. There's something powerful about writing it down. It makes it concrete. It signals to your brain that this is important, that this is what you want to focus on. And when you say it out loud, you're engaging another sense, another layer of your consciousness. You're not just thinking it, you're speaking it into existence. You're declaring to your subconscious that this is the work you wanted to do tonight. This is the problem you wanted to solve. This is the direction you wanted to explore. Then trust that your mind is working on it. Don't force answers. Don't lie awake trying to figure it out. Just plant the question and let your subconscious do its work. This is where most people mess up. They ask the question and then immediately try to answer it with their conscious mind. They lie there thinking and analyzing and trying to force a solution. But that defeats the whole purpose. Your conscious mind is the same mind that's been trying to solve this problem all day and hasn't found an answer yet. If it had the answer, you wouldn't need to ask the question. The power is in trusting that your subconscious mind, which has access to information and connections your conscious mind doesn't, will work on it while you sleep. You'll be amazed at what happens. Sometimes you'll wake up with a clear answer. You'll open your eyes and suddenly you just know what to do. The solution that seemed impossible yesterday is obvious today. Sometimes it will come to you during the day. You'll be in the shower or making coffee or driving, and out of nowhere the answer arrives. Sometimes you'll just notice yourself taking different actions without even realizing why. You'll make a choice that moves you forward and only later realize it was the answer to the question you asked the night before. Your subconscious doesn't always communicate in words. Sometimes it communicates through intuition, through gut feelings, through subtle shifts in your behavior. This is how the masters learned, not by forcing knowledge, but by asking the right questions and allowing wisdom to emerge naturally. They understood that true wisdom doesn't come from accumulating more information. It comes from accessing the intelligence that's already within you. Your subconscious mind is incredibly intelligent. It's processing millions of pieces of information every second. It sees patterns you don't see. It makes connections you don't make, but you have to learn to communicate with it. You have to learn to direct it with the right question. The ancient teachers would spend their evenings in contemplation, asking themselves deep questions about life, about their path, about how to overcome challenges. They didn't expect immediate answers. They planted the questions like seeds and trusted that wisdom would grow. And this practice turns your sleep into a problem-solving session. Instead of just shutting down for 8 hours, your mind is actively working on the things that matter most to you. You're using your sleep time productively, not just for physical rest, but for mental and spiritual growth. So tonight, choose one question. Make it specific. Make it empowering. Make it something that moves you forward rather than keeps you stuck. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let it sink deep into your consciousness as you fall asleep, and then release it. Trust the process. Trust your mind. Trust that the answer will come when you're ready to receive it. This simple practice can transform not just your sleep, but your entire life. Because when you start asking better questions, you start getting better answers. And when you start getting better answers, you start living a better life. Removing poison from your evening. Let's be honest about something. What you consume before sleep matters just as much as what you eat. Actually, it might matter even more because the food you eat affects your body for a few hours. But what you feed your mind before sleep affects your entire next day, maybe even longer. If you spend your last hour watching violence, drama, fear-based news, or scrolling through content that makes you feel inadequate, you're poisoning your subconscious and then wondering why you can't manifest peace or success. You're literally programming yourself for anxiety, comparison, and negativity right before your subconscious mind goes to work building your tomorrow. Think about it. You wouldn't drink poison and expect to feel healthy. So why would you feed your mind poison and expect to manifest your desires? It sounds obvious when you say it like that, but look at what most people actually do. They spend their evening consuming the worst possible content for their mental health. They watch shows about murder and violence. They scroll through social media seeing everyone else's perfect life while feeling worse about their own. They watch news designed to trigger fear and outrage. They engage in arguments online with strangers. They consume content that makes them feel scared, inadequate, angry, or hopeless. And then they close their eyes and expect to wake up feeling peaceful and motivated. It doesn't work that way. This doesn't mean ignore reality or pretend problems don't exist. It means being intentional about what you let into your mind during those sacred evening hours. There's a difference between being informed and being overwhelmed. There's a difference between being aware and being consumed. You can know what's happening in the world without saturating your mind with it right before sleep. You can care about problems without making them the last thing you think about before your subconscious takes over. The evening hours require protection. They require boundaries because what you expose yourself to during this time has a direct pipeline to your subconscious mind. Remove anything that leaves you feeling worse. No true crime documentaries before bed. I know they're popular. I know they're everywhere, but they're filling your mind with violence, fear, and darkness right when your subconscious is most open and receptive. No doom scroll. That habit of lying in bed scrolling through bad news, terrible headlines, disasters, and problems you have no control over. It's training your brain to see the world as a dangerous, hopeless place. No comparison-trapped social media. Scrolling through perfectly curated lives that make you feel like you're not enough, not doing enough, not achieving enough. That poison sinks deep when you consume it before sleep. No arguments or heavy conversations right before sleep. If you need to have a difficult conversation with someone, do it earlier in the day. Don't wait until right before bed and then wonder why you can't sleep, why your mind won't stop racing, why you wake up feeling drained. Your evening is not the time to solve every problem or address every issue. Some things can wait until tomorrow when you're rested and clear-headed. Protect your peace. Protect your sleep. Protect the hours before you close your eyes, because they're too valuable to waste on conflict and stress. Replace that time with things that elevate you. Read something that inspires you. Not mindless entertainment that numbs you out, but something that makes you think, that opens your mind, that leaves you feeling more alive. Listen to something calming, music that slows your heart rate, sounds of nature, guided meditation, something that signals to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. Have conversations that fill you up instead of drain you. Talk about things you're grateful for. Share what you're learning. Discuss ideas that excite you. Connect with people who make you feel good about yourself and about life. Create an evening environment that supports the life you're trying to build. This means looking at your physical space too. Is your bedroom a peaceful sanctuary or a cluttered mess? Is your lighting harsh and bright or soft and calming? Are you surrounded by reminders of stress or by things that make you feel at peace? Your environment affects your mind more than you realize. When you create a space that feels safe and peaceful, your mind and body respond accordingly. They start to relax. They start to let go. They start to prepare for deep restorative sleep. Your evening should be a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Every single night, you're either programming yourself for success or programming yourself for struggle. You're either filling your subconscious with poison or with nourishment. You're either setting yourself up to wake up heavy and anxious or light and motivated. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that you have control over what you consume. And that control is one of the most powerful tools you have. Start tonight. Take inventory of what you typically do in the hour before sleep. Be honest with yourself. Is it helping you or hurting you? Is it moving you toward the life you want or keeping you stuck where you are? And then make different choices. Remove the poison. Add the nourishment. Create an evening routine that actually serves you. Your future self will thank you. Your subconscious mind will thank you. Your entire life will begin to shift when you start treating your evening hours with the respect and protection they deserve. Breath as a bridge. Your breath is the most overlooked tool you have. It's always with you. It's always available. It requires no equipment, no training, no special circumstances. And yet most people go their entire lives without ever using it intentionally. They breathe automatically, unconsciously, never realizing that their breath is the bridge between their conscious and subconscious mind, between their body and their thoughts, between their current state and their desired state. The ancient masters understood this deep. They knew that breath was the key to everything. Control your breath and you control your mind. Control your mind and you control your life. Before sleep, spend 3 minutes just breathing, not normal breathing, conscious breathing. This is the difference that changes everything. Normal breathing is automatic, shallow, reactive. It speeds up when you're stressed. It becomes irregular when you're anxious. It reflects whatever state you're in without changing it. But conscious breathing is different. Conscious breathing is intentional, deep and direct. It doesn't just reflect your state, it changes your state. It tells your nervous system what to do instead of waiting for your nervous system to tell your breath what to do. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Breathe out slowly through your mouth for 6 counts. Repeat. This specific pattern isn't random. It's designed to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system responsible for rest, relaxation, and recovery. Most of the day, you're operating from your sympathetic nervous system, the part that keeps you alert, active, ready to respond to threat. That's useful during the day, but if you try to sleep while that system is still activated, you're going to struggle. Your body thinks it needs to stay alert. Your mind keeps racing. Your muscles stay tense. But this breathing pattern flips the switch. This does something remarkable. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which tells your body it's safe to rest, to heal, to restore. Your heart rate slows down. Your blood pressure drops. Your muscles begin to relax. Your mind starts to quiet. It's not magic. When you slow down your breathing and take deep, intentional breaths, you're not just moving air in and out of your lungs, you are influencing your entire nervous system. This simple act, especially when the exhale is longer than the inhale, communicates safety to your body. Biologically, it signals the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for rest and recovery, to take over. In other words, your breath becomes a message. There's no threat, no danger. It's safe to let go. And your body listens. Muscles relax. Your heart rate steadies. The storm inside begins to quiet down. Within just a few breaths, you can feel the shift. The chatter in your mind, those endless to-do lists, worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday starts to lose its grip. The replay of conversations, the what-ifs and the endless mental noise that keeps you distracted from the present moment slowly fade into the background. This is the power of conscious breathing. It gives you access to calm, clarity, and presence almost instantly without needing anything external. Think about how often your mind races on autopilot, running loops of thoughts you didn't even consciously choose. Most of the time, you're unaware of how shallow or fast your breathing has become. Stress tends to shorten the breath, keeping it trapped in the chest. Over time, this tells your body it's under constant pressure, stuck in fight or flight. By consciously slowing your breathing and extending your exhale, you break that cycle. You give your body permission to leave survival mode and step into balance. What's powerful about this practice is its simplicity. You don't need an hour of meditation, a special environment, or advanced training. Just a few intentional breaths can be enough to ground you. Try inhaling deeply through your nose for a count of 4, then exhaling slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this for even 2 minutes and notice the difference. Your body softens, your shoulders drop, and your mind begins to clear. This is not just a psychological trick, it's biology at work. Your breath is directly linked to your vagus nerve, a key player in regulating your stress response. By elongating the exhale, you stimulate this nerve, which activates the body's relaxation response. Over time, practicing conscious breathing can even retrain your nervous system to respond to challenges with more calm and resilience. The beauty is that it's always available. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or trapped in endless thinking, you can return to your breath. It's like a reset button, reminding you that you don't have to be ruled by stress or mental noise. Your breath anchors you to the present moment, the only place where peace actually exists. In the end, conscious breathing isn't just about relaxation, it's about reclaiming control. It's about choosing calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and presence over distraction. And it all begins with something as simple, as natural, and as powerful as your